The stars looked different from the observation deck of Orbital Station Europa. Captain William Harris stood with his hands behind his back, watching the small dot of light grow larger. The alien ship was coming. 3 minutes until they dock. "Sir?" said Lieutenant Kate Sullivan. Her voice was calm, but William could see worry in her eyes. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Is the welcome team ready?" Kate nodded. "Yes, sir. The President's representative is waiting in the main hall with the diplomatic team." William took a deep breath. This was humanity's first official meeting with the Galactic Conclave. After years of distant communications and small exchanges, the aliens had finally agreed to send representatives to Earth. This could change everything for humanity. "I still don't trust them," Kate said quietly. "Their messages always sound like they're talking down to us." William nodded but said nothing. He had noticed the same thing. The Conclave spoke to Earth like adults speaking to children. It bothered him too. The alien ship grew closer. It was beautiful, sleek and silver with glowing blue lines across its hull. It moved with a grace that made Earth's best ships look clumsy. "Time to meet our new friends," William said. "Let's hope they're actually friendly." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell watched the same approaching ship on her screens, but unlike the welcoming party above, she wasn't smiling. "Status report on all systems," she said to the room of engineers and scientists. "All Aegis units are in standby mode, Doctor," replied a young man at a computer station. "The Jupiter fleet is fully operational. Saturn fleet at 96% capacity. Mars units report all green." Elizabeth nodded. For 20 years, humanity had been building in secret. While the world's governments publicly focused on small steps into space, privately they had pooled resources into Project Aegis, Earth's hidden defense fleet. "Let's hope we never need them," she said, but her hand unconsciously touched the emergency activation key hanging around her neck. On one of her screens, she could see the alien ship docking with Station Europa. Her other screen showed President Sofia Rodriguez watching from the White House Situation Room. "Madam President," Elizabeth said into her secure line, "the visitors have arrived." "Thank you, Doctor," the President replied. "Let's see what they want before we show our cards." The Conclave representatives were not what William expected. 3 different alien species stood before him in the station's main hall. The tallest was nearly 8 feet, with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Next to it was a creature that looked almost human, except for its silver eyes and 6 fingers on each hand. The third alien was short and stocky with rough orange skin that reminded William of tree bark. "Welcome to Earth space," said George Powell, the President's ambassador. "We are honored by your visit." The middle alien, the almost human one, stepped forward. "I am Delegate Kren of the Galactic Conclave," it said in perfect English. "These are my associates, High Commander Vox of the Zentari Federation and Resource Assessor Plick of the Muron Collective." William noticed they didn't bow or offer to shake hands. They simply looked around the room with expressions he couldn't quite read. "We have evaluated your world from afar," Kren continued. "Now, we must discuss your place in the galactic community. We are eager to learn about interstellar cooperation," Ambassador Powell said with a smile. "Earth hopes to join as an equal member of the Conclave." The 3 aliens exchanged glances. The tall blue one, Vox, made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Equal?" Vox said. The translator gave his voice a metallic edge. "Your kind has barely left your own planet. You have no understanding of galactic politics or commerce. We are a young spacefaring species," Powell admitted, "but we learn quickly." The small orange alien, Plick, stepped forward. "Your world has abundant resources, rare minerals, diverse biological materials, large water reserves." William felt a chill run down his spine. This didn't sound like diplomatic small talk. "Earth is willing to establish fair trade agreements," Powell said carefully. "Trade?" Kren smiled, but it didn't reach his silver eyes. "New worlds don't trade with the Conclave. They contribute, they serve. In return, they receive protection and guidance." The room went quiet. William glanced at Kate, who had her hand near her sidearm. "Perhaps we misunderstood your intentions," Powell said slowly. Earth is a sovereign world. We seek allies, not masters. Kren's smile disappeared. You misunderstand your position. Your technology is primitive. Your defenses are minimal. We detected only a handful of small military vessels in your entire system. Of course they had, William thought. That's all we wanted them to see. The Conclave offers you a choice, Kren continued. Accept protectorate status and surrender 20% of your world's resources annually, or face pacification. Pacification? Powell asked, though everyone knew what it meant. A regrettable but sometimes necessary process, Vox said. Resistance to Conclave authority cannot be tolerated. William watched as Ambassador Powell struggled to maintain his composure. This is not what we expected from this meeting. We will need to consult with our government. Of course, Kren said. You have 72 of your Earth hours to decide. We will return for your answer. The aliens turned and walked back toward their ship without another word or gesture of farewell. As soon as they were gone, William tapped his secure communicator. Did you get all that, Command? We did, Captain, came the President's voice. Return to Earth immediately. We need to talk. 2 hours later, William stood in the White House Situation Room with Elizabeth Mitchell and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. President Rodriguez looked grim as she entered. So much for peaceful first contact, she said. It seems the galaxy is not as friendly as we hoped. They're bullies, General Frank Adams said. They saw what we wanted them to see, a world with minimal defenses. They have no idea what we're really capable of. Elizabeth pulled up a holographic display showing the solar system. Small dots of light appeared near Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and throughout the asteroid belt. Project Aegis has been preparing for this possibility for 20 years, she said. 7 dreadnoughts, each larger and more advanced than anything the public knows about, plus support vessels and defense platforms. William stared at the display. He had heard rumors about secret military projects, but nothing on this scale. How did we build all this without anyone knowing? International cooperation at the highest levels, President Rodriguez said. After our first detection of alien signals 15 years ago, the major powers agreed we needed insurance. Every country contributed resources and scientists in complete secrecy. Elizabeth zoomed in on one of the dots near Jupiter. The image showed an enormous ship, unlike anything William had seen before. The EDS Valiant, she said, nearly 7 kilometers long with defensive and offensive capabilities beyond anything the Conclave suspects we have. Do we reveal them? William asked. Show the Conclave we're not as helpless as they think? The President shook her head. Not yet. Let them believe we're considering their offer. Meanwhile, we'll prepare our forces. General Adams pointed to a radar display showing multiple new contacts at the edge of the solar system. We may not have a choice much longer. We're picking up a new fleet entering the system. And they're not Conclave ships. Everyone turned to look at the screen as dozens of unknown vessels appeared, moving fast toward Earth. It seems, the President said quietly, that someone else has taken an interest in our planet. Elizabeth's hand moved to the key around her neck. Should I activate Aegis protocol? Not yet, the President replied. But have all ships ready. I have a feeling we're going to need them very soon. William looked back at the approaching fleet. Humanity had been preparing for this moment. For decades. Soon the galaxy would learn that Earth was not as defenseless as everyone believed. The new ships entered the solar system fast. There were more than 30 of them, all black with red markings. They didn't send any messages. They just came straight for Earth. Captain William Harris stood on the bridge of the USS Defender, one of Earth's few publicly known warships. It was small compared to the secret Dreadnoughts, but it was still one of humanity's official best ships. Anything from the Conclave representatives? William asked his communications officer. Yes, sir. They're leaving. Their message says they cannot be expected to defend a primitive world against an Ixari battle fleet. So they know who these new ships belong to, William said, and they're running away. Commander Alan West appeared on the main screen. He was in charge of Earth's visible defense forces. Captain Harris, I'm ordering all ships to Defensive Formation Alpha. Protect the orbital stations and satellites. Yes, sir, William replied. Any word on activating the Aegis protocol? Commander. West's face was grim. Not yet. The president wants to see what these Ixari want first. They didn't have to wait long. A transmission came through on all channels, in all languages. The face that appeared on screen was humanoid, but with gray skin and black eyes that had no whites. Sharp teeth showed when it spoke. People of Earth, I am War Commander Grek of the Ixari Empire. Your world is now under our control. Surrender all military assets and prepare for occupation. Resistance will result in orbital bombardment of your major cities. William looked at his crew. They were scared, but ready. Doesn't seem like they're here to make friends, he said. The Conclave ship is jumping to faster-than-light speed, reported his sensor officer. They're gone. Cowards, William muttered. All ships, prepare to engage the enemy. Protect Earth at all costs. In her underground command center, Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell watched as Earth's small defense fleet moved to intercept the Ixari ships. It was like watching children stand up to giants. The enemy vessels were 3 times the size of Earth's largest public ships. They won't last 5 minutes, General Frank Adams said beside her. The president is on the line, an aide announced. President Rodriguez appeared on the main screen. She looked like she hadn't slept. Dr. Mitchell, what's the status of Aegis? All 7 dreadnoughts are ready, Madam President. Crews are at battle stations. We can activate within 3 minutes of your order. The president nodded. I wanted diplomacy to work. I wanted peaceful contact. She closed her eyes briefly, but it seems the galaxy has other plans for humanity. On another screen, Elizabeth watched as the first Ixari ships opened fire on Earth's defenders. 2 human ships exploded immediately. The USS Defender was hit but still fighting. Madam President, General Adams said, we need to act now. The president opened her eyes. Her voice was steady when she spoke. Activate the Aegis protocol. Elizabeth's fingers moved to the key around her neck. She inserted it into the console in front of her and turned it. Authentication code, Mitchell 7 Delta 9. Authentication accepted, the computer replied. Aegis protocol activated. The USS Defender. William was trying to keep his ship in one piece. They had managed to damage one of the smaller Ixari vessels, but 3 of Earth's defenders were already destroyed. Shields at 23%, his tactical officer reported. We can't. Take another direct hit. Evasive pattern Delta, William ordered. Keep firing. Suddenly, his communications officer shouted, Captain, message from command, code Aegis. All ships are ordered to fall back to Earth orbit immediately. William knew what that meant. The secret was about to be revealed. All hands brace for emergency maneuvers, he said. Get us back to Earth, now! As the Defender turned, an Ixari cruiser fired again. The beam hit them directly. Shields failed, someone yelled. Hull breach on decks 3 and 4. William held onto his chair as the ship shook violently. Alarms blared everywhere. Emergency power to engines, get us out of here. The Defender limped away from the battle along with the few remaining Earth ships. The Ixari fleet followed, confident in their easy victory. Sir? His sensor officer said in a strange voice. You need to see this. On the main screen, William watched as something massive emerged from behind Jupiter. It was a ship, but bigger than any ship he had ever seen. Its hull was dark gray with blue lights running along its length. It had to be at least 7 kilometers from end to end. The EDS Valiant, William whispered. More ships appeared. One came from behind Mars, nearly as large as the first. 5 more emerged from hiding places in the asteroid belt and from behind Saturn's moons. Earth's secret fleet was revealing itself at last. All Aegis vessels online and moving to engage, came a new voice over the communication system. This is Admiral Olivia Daniels of the Earth Defense Ship Valiant to all Earth forces. Fall back and regroup. We'll handle the Ixari from here. On the bridge of the EDS Dauntless, Lieutenant Commander Gregory Martinez felt a mix of fear and excitement. For years he had trained for this moment in secret. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. All weapon systems online, reported Lieutenant John Baker. Shield generators at full capacity. Enemy vessels adjusting course, said the tactical officer. They're moving to engage us. Gregory nodded. Let them come. Helm, bring us around to heading 045. Weapons target the lead Ixari vessel but hold fire until my command. The massive ship moved with surprising grace for its size. On the screen, Gregory could see the Ixari fleet adjusting their formation. They clearly hadn't expected to find ships of this size defending Earth. A transmission came through. It was War Commander, Greg again, but he looked less confident now. Unknown vessels, identify yourselves. You are interfering in official Ixari Empire business. Admiral Daniels' voice responded to all ships. This is Admiral Olivia Daniels of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are trespassing in Earth space and have attacked our vessels. You will power down your weapons and withdraw immediately, or we will respond with full force. The Ixari commander laughed. Your ships may be large, but the Ixari Empire has conquered 100 worlds. Your primitive technology cannot stand against us. The communication ended. Gregory looked at his crew. They have no idea what's about to hit them, he said. All hands prepare for combat. Show them what Earth can do. The Ixari fleet fired first, energy beams streaking across space toward the Earth Dreadnoughts. Shields holding at 98%, reported. John Baker with a smile. They barely scratched us. Admiral Daniels' voice came through again. All ships, you are cleared to engage. Let's show these Ixari that Earth is not to be underestimated. Gregory nodded to his weapons officer. Target their command ship. Fire main cannons. The Dauntless shuddered slightly as its massive matter conversion cannons fired. Beams of blinding white energy shot across space, hitting the Ixari command ship directly. The enemy vessel's shields flared bright blue for a moment before collapsing completely. The beams cut through the ship like it was made of paper. Direct hit, the tactical officer reported. Enemy command ship heavily damaged. All around them, Earth's dreadnoughts opened fire. The battle for Earth had begun, and humanity was not going down without a fight. Space lit up with explosions and energy beams as Earth's dreadnoughts engaged the Ixari fleet. The 7 massive human ships moved with surprising speed and grace, their advanced shields easily absorbing the enemy fire. On the bridge of the EDS, Dauntless Lieutenant Commander Gregory Martinez watched as his tactical display showed the battle unfolding across the solar system. Enemy fleet is splitting up, reported Lieutenant John Baker. They're trying to surround us. Gregory nodded. They still think they have the advantage in numbers. Message from Admiral Daniels, said the communications officer. All ships to implement Battle Plan Theta. Acknowledge the order, Gregory said. Helm, adjust course to Sector 4. Prepare for quantum jump. The crew worked quickly. Though they had never fought a real battle before, they had trained for years in simulators for this exact scenario. Quantum drive ready, the helm officer reported. Execute jump, Gregory ordered. For a brief moment, the stars seemed to stretch. Then the Dauntless disappeared from its position and instantly reappeared behind 3 Ixari cruisers. The enemy ships had no time to react before the Dauntless opened fire with its lateral cannons. 2 of the Ixari ships exploded immediately. The third tried to turn but was too slow. Direct hits on all targets, the weapons officer reported with a smile. Enemy vessels neutralized. Across the solar system, the other Earth dreadnoughts were performing similar maneuvers. The Ixari had never seen ships that could make such precise short-range quantum jumps. Their formation was breaking apart as they tried to adapt to this unexpected technology. In the underground command center, Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell watched the battle with growing hope. The Aegis fleet was performing even better than their simulations had predicted. The Ixari are falling back to regroup near Mars, General Adams noted. They've lost 11 ships already. And our losses? President Rodriguez asked from her video feed. The Dreadnought's shields are holding well above 90%, Elizabeth reported. We've lost no major systems. On the main screen they could see the massive EDS Valiant firing its main cannons at an Ixari battleship. The enemy vessel's shields failed, and the ship broke apart under the assault. We're winning, Elizabeth said. almost not believing it. "We're not just winning," General Adams replied. "We're showing them that humanity is not to be underestimated." War Commander Grech slammed his fist on the arm of his command chair. His fleet was either destroyed or damaged. These humans had tricked them. They had hidden their true strength and let the Ixari believe they were an easy target. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Their technology should be centuries behind ours." His second-in-command looked nervous. "The humans must have been preparing for decades, Commander. Their ships show design elements from multiple galactic civilizations, but improved upon. They've been studying us without our knowledge." "Order all remaining ships to form up," Grech snarled. "Prepare the Nova weapons." "But, Commander," his officer protested, "Nova weapons are forbidden by galactic treaty. Their use on inhabited systems—" "I will not be defeated by primitives," Grech shouted. "Do as I command." Admiral Olivia Daniels watched from the bridge of the EDS Valiant as the remaining Ixari ships pulled back and began to form a new battle line. "They're regrouping," she said. "But something's wrong. Those energy readings are off the charts." Her science officer looked up from his console with alarm. "Admiral, they're charging what appear to be Nova-class weapons. If those fire, they could destabilize our sun." Olivia's face hardened. "So they'd rather destroy the whole system than admit defeat. Contact Earth Command immediately and tell Captain Martinez to prepare for Phase 2. Back on the Dauntless, Gregory received the message from Admiral Daniels. "The Ixari are preparing Nova weapons," he told his crew. "We're moving to Phase 2. He turned to his science officer. "Prepare the Aegis network for activation." "Yes, sir," she replied. "Deploying quantum-entangled satellites now." From the hull of the Dauntless, dozens of small objects launched into space. Similar satellites were being deployed from the other 6 Dreadnoughts. These small devices began to position themselves in a complex pattern around the solar system. "Network deployment at 60%, the science officer reported. "Quantum entanglement stable." Gregory nodded. "As soon as we reach 100%, activate the network." On his tactical display, he could see the Ixari ships. Their weapons were glowing with building energy. They were almost ready to fire. Network at 85%. 90%. The Ixari ships began to move forward, their Nova weapons now fully charged. 95%. Network complete. Activating now. A wave of invisible energy spread out from the satellites, connecting them in a web that encompassed the entire solar system. The effect was immediate. The glow from the Ixari weapons flickered and died. Their ships suddenly slowed as if moving through thick liquid. "The quantum dampening field is working," Gregory said with relief. "Their faster-than-light systems and energy weapons are offline." On his command ship, War Commander Grech stared in disbelief as his control panels went dark. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Why aren't the weapons firing?" "All quantum-based systems are failing," his officer reported, panic in his voice. "Faster-than-light drives are offline. Weapons are not responding." "Impossible," Grech shouted. "No species has this technology." A communication came through on their emergency backup system. The face of Admiral Daniels appeared on screen. "War Commander Grech," she said calmly. "Your ships are now powerless. Your weapons cannot fire. Your vessels cannot escape. Surrender now, or be destroyed." Grech's black eyes narrowed. "You think this trickery will save you? The Ixari Empire spans dozens of systems. When our fleet doesn't return, they will send 100 more ships to burn your world." Admiral Daniels smiled slightly. "I don't think they will. Not when they learn what happened to you. Not when they see what we're capable of." She turned to someone off screen and nodded. Suddenly, Grech felt his ship moving, but none of his engines were active. "What is this?" he demanded. Through the viewports, he could see the massive human dreadnoughts surrounding his fleet. Beams of blue light extended from them, enveloping the Ixari vessels. "Tractor technology," Admiral Daniels explained. "We're moving your ships into holding positions. Your crew will be treated fairly as prisoners of war. But your ships now belong to Earth. We'll be studying them carefully." "This is an outrage," Grech shouted. "The Conclave will hear of this." "Oh," "We're counting on it," Admiral Daniels replied. "In fact, we have a message we'd like you to deliver to both the Ixari Empire and the Conclave." 3 days later, Gregory stood on the observation deck of the EDS Dauntless, looking at the captured Ixari ships. Earth had won its first interstellar battle. Most of the enemy fleet had surrendered once they realized their weapons and drives were useless against the Aegis network. "Impressive view, isn't it?" said a voice behind him. Gregory turned to see Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell walking toward him. "Dr. Mitchell," he said with a nod. "I didn't know you were on board." "Just arrived," she replied. "I wanted to see the fleet in person before we move to the next phase." "Next phase?" Gregory asked. Elizabeth smiled. "Earth's reveal was only the beginning, Commander. Now we need to establish our place in the galaxy." She handed him a data pad. It showed the course for all 7 dreadnoughts. "The Conclave outpost?" Gregory said, surprised. "We're taking the fight to them?" "Not to fight," Elizabeth corrected. "To talk, but we'll be talking from a position of strength." Gregory looked back at the captured Ixari ships. "Do you think they'll listen?" "They will," Elizabeth said confidently. "After what we did to the Ixari fleet, the entire galaxy will be listening very carefully to what Earth has to say." The journey to the Conclave outpost took 3 days. Earth's 7 dreadnoughts traveled in perfect formation, with the EDS Valiant in the lead. They carried with them a small group of Ixari prisoners, including War Commander Grek. Captain William Harris had been transferred to the EDS Indomitable after his ship, the USS Defender, was heavily damaged in the battle. Now he stood on the Indomitable's bridge beside Admiral Olivia Daniels, watching as they approached the Conclave station. "No faster than light communications have left the system," reported the communications officer. "They don't know we're coming." Olivia nodded. "Good. I want them surprised." William glanced at her. "Do you think this show of force is necessary? We've already proven our point against the Ixari." "The Conclave abandoned us," Olivia replied. "They left Earth to be conquered or destroyed, and from what we found in the Ixari commander's files, they may have been working together." The Conclave outpost came into view on the main screen. It was a massive space station shaped like a wheel, with various alien ships docked around its outer ring. Lights glowed along its surface, and William could see movement as ships came and went. "We're being scanned," said the tactical officer. "They've detected us." "Open a channel," Olivia ordered. "All frequencies, all languages." The communications officer nodded. "Channel open." Olivia stepped forward. "Conclave Outpost Delta, this is Admiral Olivia Daniels of the Earth Defense Fleet. We request an immediate audience with your highest authority." There was a long pause. Then a familiar voice responded. "Earth vessels, this is Delegate Kren. Your presence here is unexpected. We had received reports that your world was facing an Ixari invasion." "The reports were correct," Olivia said. "The Ixari came, we defeated them. Now we wish to discuss Earth's place in the galaxy with the Conclave." Another pause. William could imagine the panic on the station as they tried to understand how Earth had managed to not only survive but also send 7 massive warships across space. "We will prepare for your arrival," Kren finally said. "You may dock 1 vessel at the diplomatic bay." "Thank you," Olivia replied. "But I think you misunderstand. We are not asking permission. All 7 of our ships will hold position around your station while our diplomatic team meets with your leaders." She nodded to the tactical officer, who pressed a button. Around the station, 7 points of light appeared as the Earth ships performed perfectly synchronized quantum jumps. In less than a second, the dreadnoughts surrounded the Conclave outpost. "As you can see," Olivia continued, "we are quite capable of positioning our fleet as needed. Now, shall we begin our discussions?" The Conclave meeting chamber was large and circular. Representatives from a dozen alien species sat in rising tiers facing a central platform. William stood beside Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell and President Rodriguez as they entered. War Commander Grek was brought in behind them, under guard. Delegate Kren and his associates sat at the highest tier. They looked much less confident than they had during their visit to Earth. The Conclave recognizes the representatives of Earth, said a tall, thin alien with pale green skin. I am High Counselor Vren. We are curious about your unexpected show of strength. President Rodriguez stepped forward. We came to clarify some misunderstandings. When you visited Earth, you offered us a choice between submission and destruction. When the Ixari attacked, you abandoned us. These are not the actions of potential allies. The protection of developing worlds is complex, Kren said smoothly. We could not risk Conclave assets against an Ixari battle fleet. Elizabeth stepped forward and activated a holographic projector. It showed communications between Kren and the Ixari commander. These were found in War Commander Grek's files, she said. They show that elements of the Conclave have been working with the Ixari Empire to divide resource-rich worlds between you. Murmurs ran through the chamber. Several representatives looked shocked. Earth was to be assessed by the Conclave, Elizabeth continued. If found valuable, the Ixari would attack, forcing us to accept Conclave protection, at the cost of most of our resources. These accusations are baseless, Kren said, but his voice lacked conviction. Grek laughed harshly. You promised us Earth would be defenseless, he said. You told us their ships were primitive. You lied to us as much as to them. High Counselor Vren turned to Kren. Is this true? Before Kren could answer, William stepped forward. What matters now is not the past, but the future. Earth comes offering not war, but a new relationship, one based on mutual respect. President Rodriguez nodded. Earth has proven it can defend itself. We now seek to join the galactic community as equals, not as servants or victims. How can a single world claim equality with the Conclave? Another alien representative asked. We represent over 200 species across thousands of systems. Elizabeth smiled. Perhaps a demonstration would help. She activated the holographic projector again. This time it showed schematics of the Aegis network. This technology disabled the Ixari fleet without firing a shot, she explained. It creates a field that disrupts quantum-based systems, including faster-than-light drives and energy weapons. The chamber went silent. Every representative stared at the display. Such technology is impossible, said one alien in a whisper. Clearly not, William replied. We deployed it successfully against the Ixari. We could deploy it again if necessary. Are you threatening the Conclave? Kren demanded. President Rodriguez shook her head. Not at all. We're offering to share. That caused an even bigger stir in the chamber. Earth is willing to provide defensive technologies to worlds threatened by the Ixari or others like them, she continued. In return, we ask for fair trade agreements and knowledge exchange. We believe in protecting the freedom of all worlds, not exploiting them. High Counselor Vren leaned forward. This is unprecedented. So is Earth, Elizabeth said with a smile. We've studied the stars for centuries, dreaming of what lay beyond our world. When we finally made contact, we hoped for friendship and learning. Instead, we found politics and threats. William stepped forward again. But humanity adapts. We prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Now we've proven our strength, we'd rather use it to build than to destroy. The council chamber buzzed with conversation as the representatives discussed among themselves. Finally, High Counselor Vren raised a hand for silence. The Conclave must consider Earth's proposal carefully, he said, but it seems we have underestimated your species. A common mistake, President Rodriguez replied. One we hope won't be repeated. Later, as they returned to the EDS Valiant, William walked beside Elizabeth through the ship's main corridor. Do you think they'll accept our terms? He asked. They don't have much choice, she replied. We've shown we can defeat the Ixari. We've proven we have technology they thought impossible, and now other worlds in the Conclave have seen what we can do. And the corrupt ones like Kren? Elizabeth smiled grimly. The evidence we presented has already caused divides in their leadership. The Conclave will need to clean its own house, now. They entered the ship's observation deck. Through the massive windows they could see the Conclave station surrounded by Earth's Dreadnoughts. Several smaller alien vessels had approached, their captains requesting meetings with Earth's representatives. "It's already starting," Elizabeth said. "Smaller worlds, those bullied by the major powers, are reaching out. They see us as potential allies." "From hidden defenders to galactic diplomats in less than a week," William said with a shake of his head. "What happens now?" "Now we build the future we always hoped for," Elizabeth replied. "One where Earth stands as a defender of liberty throughout the galaxy." Admiral Daniels joined them holding a data pad. "We're receiving requests for diplomatic relations from 17 different worlds," she said, "and the Conclave Council has agreed to our initial terms." "And the Ixari?" William asked. "Their empire is in chaos," Olivia replied. "News of their fleet's defeat has spread. Worlds they conquered are beginning to resist. They won't be a threat for some time." Elizabeth looked out at the stars. "Humanity has taken its first real step into the galaxy," she said. "Everything changes from here." William nodded. "Let's make sure it changes for the better." 6 months after the battle with the Ixari, Earth had changed. News of the secret Dreadnoughts and the victory over an alien fleet had unified the planet in a way nothing else could. Old enemies became partners as humanity prepared to take its place among the stars. Captain William Harris stood at the window of the new Earth Embassy on the Conclave Central Station. The view was amazing. Ships from 100 worlds coming and going, stars shining in the distance. 2 of Earth's dreadnoughts floated nearby, a constant reminder of humanity's strength. "Still getting used to the view?" asked a voice behind him. William turned to see Dr. Elizabeth Mitchell. She wore the new uniform of the Earth Diplomatic Corps, with a small pin showing Earth and its moon. "I don't think I'll ever get used to it," William admitted. 6 months ago, I was captain of a small patrol ship. Now I'm Earth's military attaché to the Conclave. Elizabeth smiled. "We've all had to adapt quickly. The galaxy wasn't ready for us." "Ambassador Harris?" called a young aide. "The Conclave Assembly will begin in 20 minutes. William nodded. After the events at the outpost, he had been promoted and appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the Conclave. It was a job he had never expected or trained for, but President Rodriguez had insisted he was the right person. "Another day, another debate," he said to Elizabeth. "Are you ready?" "Always," she replied. "Today's the big one. The vote on the Mutual Defense Alliance." They walked together through the station's wide corridors. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around them. Some nodded respectfully. Others kept their distance, still uncertain about these newcomers who had so suddenly changed the balance of power. The assembly chamber was enormous, with seating for representatives of all 243 Conclave member species. William and Elizabeth took their places at the Earth section, where Admiral Olivia Daniels and several other humans were already waiting. "Any last-minute issues?" William asked. Olivia shook her head. "We have confirmed support from 172 worlds, more than enough to pass the alliance." "And the opposition?" "The Ixari, of course," Olivia replied. "And about 20 worlds closely aligned with them. The rest are undecided or abstaining." The chamber lights dimmed, and the High Counselor Vren took the central platform. "This assembly is now in session," he announced. "Today we vote on Proposal 7729, the creation of a mutual defense alliance, as proposed by Earth and supported by the Talarian Federation, the Murux Collective, and 170 other worlds." William stood and moved to the speaking platform. He looked around at the gathered representatives, beings from worlds circling distant stars, some so alien he could barely understand their expressions. "Fellow members of the Conclave," he began. "For too long, this galaxy has been divided between those with power and those without. The strong have exploited the weak. Resources have been stripped from developing worlds. Species have been forced into service or submission." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Earth proposes a different path. The Mutual Defense Alliance will provide protection for all member worlds. No longer will smaller planets fear invasion or coercion. Earth will share its defensive technologies, including the Aegis network, with all Alliance members." A murmur ran through the chamber. Even after 6 months, many worlds still found it hard to believe that Earth was willing to share such powerful technology. In return, we ask only for fair trade and cooperation. Together, we can build a galaxy where every species can develop without fear, where resources are shared rather than stolen, where exploration and learning replace conquest and submission. William looked directly at the Ixari representatives who glared back at him. Some say Earth is naive, that we don't understand galactic politics. Perhaps they're right. We are new to this community of worlds, but we bring fresh eyes and fresh ideas, and we've proven we have the strength to back our words. From the back of the chamber, a small alien with blue skin stood up. Earth speaks of peace while surrounding our station with warships, it said angrily. They threaten us with their weapons while claiming to want harmony. Elizabeth stood up, next to William. The 7 Earth ships currently in conclave space are here by invitation, she said calmly. And if you check your data, you'll see that 23 worlds have already requested and received Aegis defensive systems. Not one has been forced to accept our help. Another representative, tall with 4 arms, rose. The Zentari Federation supports Earth's proposal. Since receiving the Aegis system, our outer colonies no longer fear Ixari raids. For the first time in generations, our children sleep without nightmares. One by one, representatives stood to speak. Most supported the alliance. Some remained doubtful. The debate continued for hours. Finally, High Counselor Vren called for the vote. The results appeared on the massive screen at the front of the chamber. For 189 against 37. Abstain 17. The proposal passes, Vren announced. The Mutual Defense Alliance is hereby established. Cheers erupted from many sections of the chamber. William felt a wave of relief wash over him. This was what Earth had been working toward since revealing itself to the galaxy. Later, at the celebration in the Earth Embassy, William found a quiet corner away from the crowd. He looked out at the stars again, thinking about how much had changed. Admiral Daniels joined him, holding 2 glasses of champagne. She handed one to him. "To the Alliance," she said, raising her glass. "To the Alliance," William replied, touching his glass to hers. "You know this is just the beginning," Olivia said after taking a sip. "The Ixari aren't defeated, just set back. And there are other threats out there we haven't even met yet." William nodded. "I know, but we're not alone anymore. Humanity has friends now." "Speaking of friends," Olivia said, "the Talarian ambassador was asking about our ship designs. I think they're hoping we might share more than just defensive technology." "One step at a time," William replied. "Defense first, protection for the vulnerable. Then we can talk about expanding our cooperation." Across the room, Elizabeth was showing a group of alien scientists a hologram of the next-generation Aegis system. Her face was animated as she explained how the technology worked. "Dr. Mitchell seems to be enjoying her new role," Olivia observed. William smiled. "She's already talking about establishing research exchanges with a dozen worlds. Apparently, the Frux have some fascinating ideas about quantum physics that might help us improve the Dreadnoughts' jump drives." "And you?" Olivia asked. "How are you finding life as a diplomat?" "Strange," William admitted. "I was trained to fight, not talk. But maybe that's what the galaxy needs right now, soldiers who prefer peace." A young aide approached them. "Ambassador Harris? There's a message from Earth. The President wants to speak with you." William nodded and followed the aide to a private communication room. President Rodriguez appeared on the screen, looking pleased. "Congratulations, Ambassador," she said. "The alliance is a major achievement." "Thank you, Madam President," William replied. "But it's just the first step." "Indeed. And speaking of next steps, how is the fleet expansion coming along?" "On schedule," William said. "The new Dreadnoughts will be ready within a year, and with the technology exchanges from our new allies, they'll be even more advanced than the original 7. The President nodded. "Good. Peace through strength. That's how humanity will secure its place in the galaxy." William looked out the window at the stars once more. Somewhere out there were worlds that had never heard of Earth. Threats and opportunities waiting to be discovered. A vast galaxy full of wonders and dangers will be ready, he said quietly. Whatever comes next, humanity will be ready.